This is Chart Busters, and it's just the financials which are busting the charts. You know, Nigel, one would imagine that the Punjab farm loan waiver and all that would cast a bit of a shadow on all these stocks. But take a look at DHFL, Canfin Homes, Bajaj Finance, all of them at the high point of the day. Not the Nifty Bank, it is the ones which are not in the Nifty Bank, the financials, all of them moving as we speak. But talking about stocks moving and things moving on the ground, let's get talking to the management of Jyothy Laboratories to know whether things are actually moving on the ground or not. Thanks a lot, Mr. Kamath, for joining in. First up, what exactly is the GST impact? One believes that it would be doing very well for all the FMCG companies. What exactly is your current tax incidence across products, and post GST tax incidence, what would it be? And what would the concomitant impact on your margins be?
Yeah. GST is definitely a welcome change for FMCG, and as of now our effective tax is around 21%, and more or less our GST which is coming in including detergents 28%, net weighted I would say effective tax post like our GST should be around 19%. That means to say about 2.5–3% advantage will be there, but most of it will be passing on to the consumer because that's the intent of the government, and we are extremely happy to do that. But there won't be any increase in the retail price whatsoever post GST. So it's a welcome change for us.
All right, Mr. Kamath, so your users, particularly your consumers, will be quite happy to hear that you'll be passing on any kind of prices, any kind of gains to the consumer. So that's good news. But what about, do you expect some uncertainty due to the implementation of GST? Is there likely to be destocking at the dealer level? And if you could tell us, sir, what proportion of your revenues come in from the wholesale as well as from the rural channel? If you could give us some color there.
As of now, all of us, we are very well prepared for the GST because it's been going on for many months now, and as a company and with our 5,200 like our distributors, we are in touch with everybody, and everybody are GST compliant, so there won't be any disruption as such as far as sales is concerned from us to the distributor. The second point is, like especially the rural in our company, about 40% comes from the rural sector, and which is somewhere which completely we are now servicing them to our distributors who are GST compliant. Wholesale is again about 40% of the company's revenue comes from the wholesale, and south and the west is perfectly fine, and north and the east is generally a little late in wholesale. That was seen in the demonetization during that time also. So according to me, there will be disruption in the channel destocking for about 15 days or maybe maximum of 3 weeks, because otherwise, like for a consumer, it doesn't matter whether GST or no GST, for them all it's MRP driven products. So to that extent, destocking might happen at channel level, and generally FMCG we stock anywhere between 3 weeks to 6 weeks of stock in the channel between the company, the depots, and the wholesalers, retailers, and the modern trade. So that might get shrunk, maybe about 10 to 15 days is what we expect from our company's point of view.
All right, Mr. Kamath, then with so much clarity coming in on the GST, let's talk business. What exactly was your volume growth in FY17? If you could break it up across individual segments, and what is the outlook for FY18 then?
2017, including the demonetization effect, company did well. Volume growth was about 8%, and value growth was about 6%. And across all the segments, we did well, but for mosquito repellent, that is because of poor monsoon last time. And current year, the monsoon is looking really good. Kerala has already got its, getting good rains, and also West has started getting the rains. So we are very hopeful in the current year, with the normal monsoon being there and the GST being there, we should be able to grow anywhere between 10 to 12% in volume terms for the year 2017-18. And as of now, we are in line with that.
All right, Mr. Kamath, let's talk about the smaller part of your business, which was a tad bit disappointing. The households insecticides business, quite a weak performance coming in from there. I think one of your competitors, Godrej Consumers, they are doing quite well as well. Give us a sense, are you losing some market share? Do you have a strategy over there?
In fact, we have not lost the market share. We gained 1.5% market share during the last year, which is till March. It's only because we are extremely strong in the eastern region, whereas competitors are strong, like in south and the west. And monsoon was bad in the eastern period, eastern sector last year, and that's only because of that. And we have seen this up and downs in the mosquito repellent. And I'll be very happy if the mosquitoes are not there because of dengue, chikungunya, malaria, and 15% of business comes from from household insecticide, but still, I'll be extremely happy. No mosquitoes, no sales.
All right, so let's talk about some bigger segments of your business then. What kind of revenue can we expect, revenue growth can we expect in your fabric care Ujala business, and the margins out there on a company level basis as well? What is on the anvil for FY18?
Yeah, FY18 fabric care, we expect about 12 to 15% of the volume growth, and this is something which launched a Crisp and Shine in the south, which is doing extremely well, which is a stiffener in the fabric care category, and detergents, as always, has done well for us in Ujala and also in HandKill. And the biggest, for us, business now is dishwash segment. Both EXO and Prill are doing well, and they're all not seasonal. Every day people have to use that, and everywhere we are getting the market share across categories, across brands. So we have got the market share last year, and Margo also this summer has done well. It has already grown by about 22% in the last quarter. To that extent, we are happy with the growth.
All right, Mr. Kamath, we've had a good interaction. You've given us a good outlook for the next year as well, but we can't let you go on that one. We need to ask you what's happening in terms of HandKill. The option was, the timeline was extended, and no interview is really going to be complete without asking you whether or not HandKill is going to go in there, they're going to execute their option, and are they going to take a bigger chunk?
In fact, talks are on. It's a marriage between the two companies, and they're very big, and it's a multinational company. So there are a lot of small issues which we had to sort out. And 31st March it was not possible, so extended till 31st of October. But it is nothing is done unless it is done. So we are talking. Things are going on. Lawyers and the bankers
are we taking the marriage to the next level, sir? That's what we want to know.
On GST implementation. Yeah, effort is for that, sir, as always, because it's good for both the companies. If you see HandKill, it's a good thing for them to come back to India in a big way, and for us, a lot of good brands will come back from their portfolio to India. So it's good for both, but it is a strategic investment for them. If you see from their point of view, they want to make sure that they'll come with all the things in place. Only for that, it's taking time. But
Mr. Kamath,
let's hope so. Things will be fine.
One thing I wanted some clarity on. You said there are a few small issues because it's a marriage of two big companies. It's been in the works for a very long time. If you could throw some clarity on what exactly those issues were because of which this has been postponed, and do you expect it to end, or do you expect it to consummate by October 31st? Was price one of those issues?
And see, for us, our interest, our stakeholders in Jyothy Labs Limited is the only, a thing which we look at it. But for us, Jyothy Labs and our stakeholders' interest is very, very important. And it's a long-term decision which they are taking, which we are perfectly fine with that. And the rest of the issues will always be there when two companies want to join together, and we'll be looking from our point of view. They'll be looking from the global perspective. To that extent, there are issues which are all normal, which everybody knows about it. But as that we have signed a non-disclosure agreement with them, I'll not be able to disclose any of those things. But most of them, as you know, they're all normal in nature. What kind of issues can come, and there's all the disputes which you are discussing with them.
All right, Mr. Kamath, thanks a lot for giving us all those details. We expect to touch base with you very soon, before October 31st, based on this HandKill thing only. With that, we'll slip into a short break, come back, we'll talk about